It was more advice. And I think that every job, every year, I say, Rexhen, look at your life every 5 years. You're going to grow. You're not going to be in the same place. And I use that as a barometer every single time I talk to someone. Measure it in 5 years, even a year. You're growing. And I think it's just you're growing as a person. And I think sometimes when you coach people, they kind of get stuck in that job, especially if they've been there for 10, 15, 20 years.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Career Coaching Secrets podcast. I'm your host Rexhen, and today's guest is Linda Bonanno, a career coach, senior talent acquisition consultant, and trusted partner to organizations navigating change and growth. With a background in talent management and a heart for coaching, Linda helps professionals at every stage unlock their potential and chart meaningful career paths. Whether guiding a job transition, developing emerging leaders, or shaping retention strategies, Linda brings both strategic insight and deep empathy to the table. And it's a pleasure for me to have her on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Linda.
Thank you, Rexhen, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure for us. So I want to know how you got started into the coaching industry. So tell me a little bit more about what inspired you to become a coach and now you're thinking of starting your coaching business on the side as well.
Well, I think what inspires me is just people in general. I think it's being a career coach, you're taking somebody at a point in their life where they're vulnerable and it's a disruption in their life. And there's nothing better than to be there and be a sounding board and help. So I've always, in my career as a recruiter, has always been there to help people, help advance people, help bring the best of the best out of people. And I think when you're going through a trying time of losing your job, you need somebody to be a listener and a sounding board and bring counsel and guidance to them. So that's what inspires me every day, is to help people realize their potential and the opportunities that go with it.
And it's been how long has it been since you started doing this exactly?
As God would have it, right now as there's thunder. I've been doing this for 2.5 years and I've enjoyed every single minute of it.
And throughout these 2 years, which part of your coaching journey would you say you find the most rewarding since you started doing this?
Taking people who have just been really devastated by the loss of their routine, the loss of income, the frustration, sometimes the desperation on what am I going to do, and being a sounding voice and having used my experience in the past as a recruiter and a job seeker to point them in the right direction, to offer solutions, viable solutions that make sense for them. So that, I think, has been a critical key to helping my clients achieve their potential and success.
Do you typically work with a specific group of people, or let's say, what would be the target, the ideal client profile that you would like to work with now that you're thinking of shifting to your own kind of business? Who would be that ideal client?
I don't even look in ideal. I look for the potential in people. While at Rise Smart, I coached people all over the board, from beginning entry level all the way up to senior leadership and executive C-suite. And everybody, it doesn't matter what level or title you're on, you're in the same boat. You've lost your job. So I take people on an individual basis and I say to themselves, you're at really this fork in the road. It's keep doing what you're doing or decide to pivot into something else. And based on what their financial obligations and how they are, I can tell them, let's map out a plan that makes sense for you. So to answer your question, Rexhen, there's really no ideal. It's really about getting in the weeds, getting a plan together and moving forward. It's in the rearview mirror. You have to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I say ideal, I'm also thinking of certain industries, maybe, and certain demographics that you feel like you could help out better than certain other industries or demographics. Or do you think that
Sure.
that is not a limitation?
Well, it's not a limitation with demographics, but to tell you, if you want to go back to the ideal, I think we all get into our comfort zone and space. My area of expertise is definitely in media, in advertising, entertainment, but I've been all over the board as a recruiter, but that's my love. That's where I started out. I started out many years ago as a media buyer at many world-renowned advertising agencies, and that's a world that I know and still love. I still have lunch and contacts with colleagues from those days, and we laugh about the last days of Mad Men.
And when you say media buying, just for my curiosity, this goes back to before Facebook ads or Google ads or...
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. I almost hate to date myself on this, but I go back all the way to local broadcast buying. So in our day, we used to call them spots and dots, but I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. What I tell all my clients is I've learned the greatest skill of negotiating, and it comes in handy every single day.
And yeah, that's so interesting how everything kind of like has changed throughout the years. Even like when you think of the coaching, because I've interviewed also coaches who have been doing this 20 years ago, 20 to 30 years ago. And it's so interesting because then it wasn't really an industry. Then it wasn't like I just had an interview with a coach right before you, and he was saying we didn't even call it coaching before 30 years. It was just something we did.
It's absolutely right. There was no label, it was more advice. And I think that every job, every year, I say, Rexhen, look at your life every 5 years. You're going to grow. You're not going to be in the same place. And I use that as a barometer every single time I talk to someone. Measure it in 5 years, even a year. You're growing. And I think it's just you're growing as a person. And I think sometimes when you coach people, they kind of get stuck in that job, especially if they've been there for 10, 15, 20 years. It's about getting out of your comfort zone, and it's change. And I think as a coach, you realize that, hey, change is part of life, and you help people realize it.
Mentioned in the beginning that you're considering basically moving potentially full-time or maybe part-time and then full-time to your own coaching business. So my next question is more focused on the future and the goals. How do you break down the goals when it comes to that?
Well, I mean, I say you got to start small, start on the ground floor, and then you build. So right now, I'm toying with the idea. I've had many clients over the time said, you really should do your own business, or you really should have your own show, or you should really. And so I'm kind of taking their advice. But I think start off small, have a few trusted clients, use your network, which I am fortunate to say over the course of so many years, you build a network, you know people that you can reach out to for advice and counsel, and you come up with a plan and you follow that plan, baby steps. Rome was not built in a day. So that's where I am right now. So kind of startup phase, shall we say.
And since you mentioned Rome, for anyone who's listening, Linda is Italian by roots. So which part of Italy would you say we're from?
Well, first off, it's my father's side of the family, and I have been to both places. So my grandmother was from Naples and my grandfather was from Calabria. So Naples is kind of like in the middle of Italy, and then Calabria is like at the toe, right by Sicily. Beautiful country, beautiful country. Really enjoyed loving being there and embracing my roots.
Cool. Yeah, I really like Italy too, being that I'm very close to Italy in Albania. So yeah. Now looking into also investments, what have been some investments that you've made in yourself, or that maybe investments that you're thinking of making in the future that you feel like are going to be worth it for you or have been worth it for you that you've made already?
Investments. Well, I think investing in education yourself, investing and reinvesting your money, whether it's taking your savings, investing it in retirement funds, in real estate, wherever you decide to go with investments, really come up with a plan that is, I think, going to source that's the way I look at it. Have always a side hustle. And I tell all my clients, it's always good to have a side hustle and a plan B. So that's where I say is the best place to invest. Invest in yourself and your plan B, just in case plan A doesn't work out.
And you have already started, meaning with the LLC. I'm guessing there's some sort of investment just to start there, right?
From my understanding, I've been speaking and under the counsel of clients and people that do have an LLC. And my understanding is that you do need to seek an attorney's advice. You need to register it. There is a fee involved. My understanding is about $3,000 to $4,000. Also, from my understanding, you bill right under your LLC. So again, this is kind of new to me and I'm investigating it now, but this is what I have been hearing, and I will be talking to legal counsel about it as I go forward.
Thank you for sharing that. The other thing is, when thinking about challenges, what is a challenge right now for you? Obviously, figuring out the LLC would be one, but what is another challenge short term they want to solve for in the pursuit of starting your own coaching business?
Well, I think the short-term challenge is having a steady stream of revenue, a steady stream of clients under your roster, sort of those cash cows, and offering services that they're going to be satisfied with and kind of grow from there, and then bring in other revenue streams, other businesses, other services. So that's kind of the model of the business plan.
And right now, for anyone who's listening, because we didn't cover that, you're working as a contractor at the same time, kind of like building your experience. What was that called?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What was the company called that you're currently working on?
The company that I worked for,
Smart.
it's part of Randstad, which is a large, being in Europe, it's a Dutch company. It's a large Dutch staffing company. But RiseSmart is their what they call outplacement umbrella. So they specifically do coaching, resume writing, so on and so forth, and help people with their transition from losing their job.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, just wanted to build the full picture for anyone who's listening. So thank you for sharing that. And the final question is more on advice. So what advice would you give to other coaches or career coaches that are looking to scale their impact? And this would be like an advice you'd give to yourself or anyone who is also in your position starting out.
Well, what I would say is be in it to help people, number one. You know, it's great that you can make a living from this and a good living at that, hopefully. But what I'm saying is be the listener, okay? There's a difference than hearing. A lot of people hear things, but when you truly hone in and listen to somebody's story, to their needs, then you can offer a plan, a counsel, and a direction. So that's my advice as a coach and to any human being on the planet. And also have a sense of kindness and compassion. That goes a long way. Come from a place where you can meet people where they are, and then you can take them to their next journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to come into this podcast. Thank you, Linda. For anyone who wants to find you or connect with you, they can go into LinkedIn and look up Linda Bonanno. They'll be able to find you there. Apart from LinkedIn, is there any other way that people could reach out to you and connect with you?
Right now, LinkedIn is the best way to get me. So I look forward to seeing, hearing, and talking and meeting and connecting, networking with new people all the time.
Thank you so much, Linda. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you,
having you on
Rexhen.
the podcast.
Have a wonderful day.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.